I'm Motley Fool Canada senior analyst Nick Seipel, and this is the 5 Minute Major, here to make you a smarter investor in about 5 minutes. Today, we're discussing Warren Buffett's last word as Berkshire Hathaway CEO. My guest today is Hidden Gems Canada lead advisor, Jim Gillies. Jim, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for the invite, Nick. I feel it's
So,
appropriate with my stuffed Warren Buffett behind me here, so this should be good.
that's right. The end of an era is upon us. Warren Buffett is stepping down at the end of the year as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, and his last letter to shareholders as CEO went out on Monday, November 10th. After this, he's going quiet. He won't be writing the annual report, won't be maintaining the tradition of speaking for hours on end at the annual meeting. Jim, you've been following Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett for years. What did you take away from Buffett's final word as Berkshire CEO?
Sure. To start with, I didn't think there was anything terribly surprising about this to those who have been paying attention. I mean, let's be honest here. This is a 95-year-old man, okay, good genes, but also 95, following through on what was announced at the annual meeting last spring that he is stepping aside for younger blood in the form of, Mid-American Energy former CEO and CEO-elect Greg Abel and Canadian too from Edmonton. And it's pretty classic Buffett. He very much worries about how he is perceived publicly, and I believe that he thinks the absolute best course of action is to not have the prior CEO overshadowing and implicitly, at least perhaps in the mind of other people, overruling slash undermining difficult decisions that might come down the pike. So if Greg Abel decides he wants to go do X, whatever X happens to be, invariably investors will come, well, that's not how Warren would have done it. And to minimize that, I think the message has been succinct and direct. I think it's been ongoing for years too, by the way, for those who have been paying attention, is Greg will be the boss. Okay, Greg is now going to be the boss. Come January 1, Greg is the boss. And so it's, reiterate, Greg is the boss. And more importantly, I have complete faith in Greg. This has been Buffett's message for years, even before when Munger was still alive and they would ask about succession planning. We have a candidate. And then when the candidate leaked that it was Greg Abel, they immediately switched to singing Greg Abel's praises. This has been consistent. So I also, and this is why, there's been a lot of talk about how much cash Buffett has built up on the balance sheet, right? Oh, it's 350 billion or 380 billion, whatever, whether depending if you take out the T-bill position or not. And people are like, oh, well, he can't find anything to do and he can't find. No, in my opinion, what he's been doing is setting the table for Greg Abel, but as well, he doesn't want to be perceived as, kind of handing a poison chalice by making these giant investments beforehand. He's setting it up so Greg Abel can chart his own path, which is, I think, what you should have expected from Buffett, you know? And so that was kind of my takeaway is none of this is really surprising. And then, you go look at the major themes of the letter. It was aging, the passage of time, the passage of good friends, what he learned from friends, and of the fact that Father Time, is undefeated. And have we mentioned, Warren is 95. So,
Yeah, that focus on governance, classic Buffett, someone who wants to leave his baby in good hands when he is no longer around to watch after it. Looking at the business itself and his final words of wisdom to shareholders, what should investors hold on to for the long term?
um, so I'm going to go in a non-investing direction if that's okay. And I'm actually going to read a passage from the letter if that's fine with you. Um, It was in the section that is noted, and I would encourage people to go out and read the letter themselves. It's available on the most recent press release on the Berkshire Hathaway Berkshire Hathaway website, investor relations section, it's dated November 10th. And there's a section called "A Few Final Thoughts." And you know, a number of things that he talks about. He's more happier with the second half of his life than the first. We should also aspire to that. Boy, I had a pretty good first half of my life. I hope the second half's even better. Don't beat yourself up about past mistakes. Learn and move on. I think that's good advice. Talks about, something that Munger said often enough was like, decide, live for the obituary we would like to see written about you after you're gone. Um, or, you know, decide what you want your obituary to say and live like you deserve it. But the coda that I really liked and that I would encourage people to take away here is greatness does not come through accumulating great amounts of money, says the multi-billionaire. Greatness does not come about through accumulating great amounts of money, great amounts of publicity, or great power in government. When you help someone in any of thousands of ways, you help the world. Kindness is costless, but also priceless. Whether you are religious or not, it's hard to beat the golden rule as a guide to behavior. I write this as one who has been thoughtless countless times and made many mistakes, but also became very lucky in learning from some wonderful friends how to behave better. Still a long way from perfect, however. Keep in mind that the cleaning lady is as much a human being as the chairman. I love that. I think it's great words to live by and to aspire to. And so I'm just going to say thank you to Uncle Warren for many years of being able to follow you.
Yeah, appropriate for Warren Buffett's final word as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, to be words of wisdom that are relevant not just today, but really hopefully through all of our both investing and personal lives. That's all the time we have for this edition of the 5-Minute Major. I want to remind our viewers, if you want more stock ideas from us, click on the icon in the upper right-hand corner. I hope to see you next time. Until then, thanks for joining us, and Fool on.